As the shapes came into the light, however, she saw that her fears had been baseless. Strauss was at the head of nearly 20 uniformed men, and they looked ready to get back to work. The warden laughed as they stopped about 30 feet away from the party, looking half drunk as he sagged between his siblings. "Hell of a time to renegotiate," he said, coughing between chuckles. "They heard you might be open to rehiring them," Strauss said, speaking for the group. "That you might have some openings after tonight." The warden opened his mouth to say something, but that's when he heard the sounds coming from the dorms. The inmates were awake, and they sounded upset. They'd been asleep most of the day. They were hungry, they needed the bathroom, and they were disoriented. If someone didn't arrive to tell them what was going on, they were going to riot, and the warden would be left to deal with them on his own. "Very well. Tell them to get to work, Assistant Warden Strauss. Tell them to inform the inmates that the incident is under control and everything will be back to normal soon. Send someone to get the kitchen staff together and start breakfast. We need to get this place back in order." Strauss nodded, and the guards organized themselves to get back to work. There would be a sit-down coming, and the warden would likely have to eat a certain amount of crow. Such was life, he supposed, and the warden told his siblings to help him to his office. "Tell your friends to stay. We may have need of them again." They helped him up the stairs, and when he saw the door hanging open, he shook his head slowly. "It was unlocked. I'm not sure why they bothered." The hellhounds were gone now, but they had left both men sitting on the catwalk. The warden had his siblings bring him over to the door, and shook his head as he looked upon the cat's paw he had sent to his death. I suppose he fulfilled his end of the bargain. He's now free to see what awaits murderers on the other side. It's a shame, really. I had promised him his freedom if he killed Reese, but we both knew he wouldn't have lasted long on the outside. He was a predator, a hunter of men, and he would have wound up right back in the cage again. They took him to his desk, and as he settled into the comfy chair, he extended a hand to Mr. Seraph. "I'll take those back now, dear brother." Mr. Seraph seemed confused. "Whatever could you mean?" The warden fixed him with a leading look. "I've spent time around thieves and liars for most of my stay up here, and you are no expert. I saw you scoop up the totems, and I'd like them back now, please and thank you." Mr. Seraph chuckled, reaching into his pocket as he dropped them on the table. "You can't blame a guy for trying. Surely you can feel the power radiating off of them." "I can," the warden said, holding them a little too long as he looked at them. "And that's why they must stay here. There are fewer chances for them to walk away inside the prison walls, and I don't want anyone to be tempted by them. If they stay here, there's less chance of that. And more chance you'll use them for your own devices," Winter growled. The warden shrugged. "Very true, but I've kept them this long without using them, so what's a little longer when you think about it?" He rolled over to the glass case, produced a key from his pocket, and locked both of them away again. He admired them for a moment, the two of them looking quite nice as they sat together, the screamer and the laugher. The warden hadn't known there was more than one, and he suddenly wondered how many more there were. Could there be others? Would these two call to them? Maybe it was time to make inquiries, but that was a job for another day. "I've been foolish again," he said, as he sat back grinning. "It isn't often that someone can trick me so completely. I'm lucky all of you showed up to rescue me, because I'm not sure what would have happened otherwise. She had me dead to rights. That barrier would have killed me eventually. There wasn't a lot I could have done about it. You saved my life, and I'm eternally grateful. For you, little brother, I will agree to your terms, which we spoke of during Halloween. I will get you a list of talents among my inmates, so you can make deals with them. Is this an adequate boon?" Mr. Seraph nodded. "Yes, that would be an adequate payment for my time tonight." He turned to Dr. Winters. "And you, sister, what can I do for you?" "You can release the inmates from the prison block we came through." The warden raised an eyebrow. "And which block would that be?" "You know very well which block I mean. I want the cell block under the prison closed down, and the inmates released back to the prison at large, or released in general, if you're keeping them for no real reason. That is what I desire." Mr. Seraph nodded, agreeing wholeheartedly with his sister's words, but the warden furrowed his brow as he thought it over. "I will release them, whether to the prison or in general, but I will need both of your help with this matter. These inmates are dangerous, often difficult, and I may need you to convince them that they aren't." "What do you—" Winter asked, but the warden waved her off. "We'll discuss it, but rest assured, we will see that the under-prison is closed before the start of 2027. It's probably time anyway. After having them locked within it, I now see how some of my charges might get a little stir-crazy. Call them up, please. The old man, the knight, and the kid who did for Jesse. I want to speak with them now." Dr. Winters stayed put, but Mr. Seraph took his leave. A moment later, Grandpa, Sam, and John came in. The warden was feeling a little steadier now, his energy source back in place, and he was sitting behind steepled fingers when they entered. "Thank you for your help. This isn't the first time some of us have met, and I want to personally thank you for saving my prison. Old-timer, I know you and my siblings haven't always had the best relationship, but you came when I needed you, and I appreciate that. What can I offer you as thanks?" Grandpa just shrugged. "I didn't do it for you. I did it for the town. I also did it a little bit for your sister. She's really impressed me, and I like helping her when I can." The warden nodded. "Even so, I want to offer you a boon. I owe you a favor, if and when you choose to collect it. Thank you for your service tonight." Grandpa nodded and left. "Samuel, so good to see you again. I see you've had a promotion since the last time we spoke. What is it that I can do for you in exchange for your service?" Sam thought about it. What would the lady have asked for? There were only so many things the old demon could give him, but he could think of only one thing that might be of real use to the park. "We would like our contract with you to no longer include body disposal. We will continue to utilize the work crew inmates, but the nature of the lady's power has changed, and she no longer requires human suffering to power it. Find someone else to do your dirty work for you." The warden looked as if someone had force-fed him a lemon, but he nodded. "Very well. consider it done. May I still consider the park an ally in these troubled times?" Sam nodded slowly. "Until you prove yourself an enemy, we'll always be allies. This is nothing personal. It's a change in the way we do things. Nothing more." The warden softened a little at that, and Sam bowed and left. That left John, and as he approached, the warden's smile was genuine. "Son, you've done me a great service. You may have even saved my life, and for that, I'm thankful. What can I do for you to make amends?" John was having trouble focusing. His eyes seemed to be pulled to something over the warden's shoulder. The warden glanced back, but he couldn't see what the man was seeing, and thought it might be some odd power he had. John looked at the thing only he could see and nodded before turning back. "For starters, you can release him." The warden glanced behind him again, not sure what John was looking at. "And who would that be?" "B50967. At least, that's what he says his name is. He says you made a deal with him, and now he wants to be free." The warden turned, still not seeing the man, but guessing he was there. "A deal is a deal. I free you from this place, Daniel Cribbs. You may go and find whatever peace you are entitled to." John watched as the man mouthed, "Thank you," before disappearing into a cloud of sparks. For a man that was dissipating into something very close to uncertainty, Daniel Cribbs looked exceedingly pleased with himself and satisfied for the first time in his life. "What about you?" the warden asked. "What can I give to you?" John thought about it, not exactly sure what he wanted. He hadn't come here expecting to get much beyond a pat on the back and a long walk away with his life. Like Grandpa, he had done this because he was asked. And approaching Jessie and then pushing her into that whatever it had been as big a surprise for him as anybody. He was going to have some nightmares about that for a while, you could bet your butt. But now, this creepy guy was offering him a favor. And John just wasn't sure what he wanted. "I guess maybe I'd like to understand the town a little better. If I'm going to be the guy who talks to ghosts and helps out wizards, then maybe I need to get better at what I do." The warden smiled. Knowledge. What a novel concept. He walked to the cabinet where he stored his things and took out a leather-bound book with crisp-looking pages. "This is a comprehensive town history. I wrote it myself, and it details the town's history from the time I got here till the present day. It might help you discover some things that you'll find useful." John took the book, thanking the warden before leaving too. And soon the group could be seen heading out the main gate and back towards their truck. "A brain, a heart, and some courage," the warden said, turning back to his sister as she lingered. "And now, Dorothy, I suppose you'd like to go home, wouldn't you?" Winter rolled her eyes as she pushed away from the wall and headed to the door. "I'll be back to talk about your under-prison. Till then," she said, not liking the words as they passed from her mouth, "I'm glad you aren't dead." She left then, she and Maggie soon walking up the path, and the warden was left to sit on his throne once again. He relaxed for the first time in weeks. It had been a long and trying time.
Good evening, everyone. It's me, Dr. Plague. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's show. If you think you might like a little more spooky in your life, then please feel free to click on one of the videos we have up here Maybe look at one of the playlists if you're trying to get caught up. I know, there's so many videos on the channel, so many series that are going at the same time. Sometimes you just need a little refresher course, and I gotta say, I always enjoy the views. If you're not subscribed, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Maybe hit the bell so you don't miss anything. We upload a lot on this channel, so you won't want to miss a single story as they come out. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click on the Amazon link down there. There's quite a few books in my Amazon account. You can have a look, and if you'd like a signed copy, get up with me through email, and I'll be happy to work something out with you. Also, there's links to my Patreon, and you can become a member on the channel if you'd like your spooky a little bit early. Patrons and members on the $5 tier get their videos 12 hours early. That's in the morning as opposed to in the evening. Patrons at the $10 level also get a signed copy of my book anytime I write one. Speaking of my patrons, you should see them appearing right now. Just wanted to take a minute to say how much I appreciate all of you. Patrons, subscribers, however you give to the channel. I really appreciate everything you do, and it truly touches me that you have chosen to support the channel in this way. Well, that's enough for now. Till next time, Dr. Plague, signing off. Have a wonderful evening.